Parks in Toronto go about as well together as bread and butter, peanut butter and jam, or Taco Bell in the bathroom. The city has many parks, and when combined with the city's rich public transit history, it's not uncommon to see the two cross over. Today, we're looking at a streetcar loop which was saved from the inevitable fate of being built over and was instead turned into a charming little sculpture garden. This is the Loring-Wyle Parkette. But it wasn't always. Our story starts on December 1st, 1924, when the St. Clair streetcar extended from Yonge Street to Mount Pleasant Road. As it was located in the Moore Park neighborhood, the terminal loop was named Moore Park Loop. The next year, in November 1925, streetcar tracks were extended up Mount Pleasant Road, bypassing but not replacing the loop. Streetcars used it frequently for short turns and other uses. The loop's history was relatively uneventful until 1975, when the eastern part of the St. Clair streetcar was split off into the Mount Pleasant streetcar. This service only lasted about a year before its abandonment due to various factors I'm skipping over for the sake of brevity. On July 24, 1976, the route was discontinued. Moore Park Loop was used for slightly longer, however. Night service was provided until the 1st of October that year. After streetcar service was abandoned, the loop sat empty. The tracks through the loop were removed and tracks on the street nearby were paved over. Aerial photographs from the time show the plot of land to just be an empty grass lot. However, this was soon to change. But before I tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. Loring-Wyle was born on November 14, 1881, in Trenton, Illinois. On October 18, 1887, Frances Norma Loring was born in Wardner, Idaho. These two women first met at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago in 1906 and became partners in sculpture making. After a 4-year stint in New York City, they both moved to Toronto in 1913. Nicknamed the Girls, they initially rented an apartment at Church and Lombard Streets in downtown Toronto. They quickly gained traction and were some of Canada's earliest well-known sculpture artists. Loring and Wyle gained several commissions throughout their career in Toronto, most notably the Queen Elizabeth Monument, a statue of Prime Minister Robert Borden in Parliament Hill, and hundreds of other small statues, sculptures, and monuments. In 1920, a few years after coming to Toronto, the duo bought an old church at 110 Glenrose Avenue, just one block south of what was to become Moore Park Loop. This old church was creatively nicknamed The Church and was originally located somewhere along Yonge Street before being moved here long before Loring and Wyle purchased it. The church became a gathering place for artists of the time, and the Girls held regular parties on Saturday nights to much acclaim. Loring and Wyle would continue to get commissions and increase in notability. They were lifelong friends, and in 1965 decided to create mirroring wills which would both advocate for the creation of the Sculpture Fund, which would have been a fund for organizations and institutions to acquire sculptures. Unfortunately, after their deaths, the fund was never created. The pair passed away 3 weeks apart in 1968. Loring-Wyle died on January 14, 1968 at the age of 80, with Frances Wyle dying shortly after on February 5th at the age of 86. Throughout the late 70s and early 80s, Moore Park Loop sat abandoned. The site was nothing more than a grass field with a few trees, the perfect place for a park. In 1984, the Moore Park Residents Association successfully campaigned for the former loop to become a park dedicated to Loring and Wyle, whose church was just a block away. They succeeded. The former streetcar loop was renamed the Loring-Wyle Parkette, and some of the sculpture artists' works have been displayed. Currently, there are 4 sculptures. The Harvester, made by Wyle in 1940, Young Girl, made by Wyle in 1938, a bust of Loring made by Wyle, and a bust of Wyle made by Loring. None of Frances Loring's other works are displayed in the park. One source claims this is because she preferred to work on the large, monumental works which would have not fit comfortably in the park's small area. There are 2 nearby plaques, one in the park itself, the other in front of the church. Since opening, the park seems to have changed relatively little. Old Google Street View from 2009 shows a now gone telephone booth and a bench which has since moved to the other side of the bus shelter. An even earlier 2007 view shows the old signage. However, the most interesting thing revealed by these old images is old streetcar track poking through the asphalt. This was the biggest reminder of streetcars on Mount Pleasant. Sometime between 2009 and 2011 it was paved over, but the faint outline of tracks has since reappeared in the aging pavement as cracks. Tracks have also reappeared in the nearby St. Clair-Mount Pleasant intersection, but I'm not going to go out into moving traffic to film footage of what's literally a crack on the road. That's where I draw the line, okay? Don't make me do that. No! Thank you all for watching. Yeah, I've made another YouTube video. The Loring-Wyle Parkette is really a great spot to visit if you're in the area. You should take a 5-minute break from whatever you're doing and come by and look at the sculptures if you're ever in the area. Or waiting for the bus at the nearby bus stop. You can do that, yeah. You won't be disappointed. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, so I initially had the idea for this video, something I could make quickly after the video about the Mount Pleasant bus, as I already had a lot of the B-roll. And it turns out to have had a lot of history behind it, so that's cool, yeah. So, I'd like to make more videos like this about little places in Toronto, and that not many people outside the local area may have heard of. So, if you'd like to see that, then please subscribe, because I'm gonna make more of this. Yeah, like the video if you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you. And goodbye. Wilkie Whale out.